Hi, good evening, and welcome welcome to this class. So today, what we are basically doing is the formulas in Excel. So we're doing the basic maths and stats functions in Excel. Then also we'll be throwing in um conditional statements and formulas for data analytics. So it's a beginner-friendly class. So just and the class is being recorded. So you can always revert back to the video in case you get lost. So proceed now. Also, the objective of this class is by the end of the class, you'll be able to understand the basic math and statistical functions used in data analysis. You can also use these functions in Excel or Google Sheets. You can write conditional statements to make decisions from data. So, last class we talked about what data analysis is. So today we are learning some basic maths because data analysis without maths is like cooking without fire. So, but it's going to be simple and practical. So, like I said, there will be videos. I'll share the video with you. Let me share my screen. Okay, see, this is what our Excel sheet looks like, right? So this is a blank Excel sheet. And this is the home page. At home, you can find where you can actually edit maybe your document or whatsoever. And in insert column, you can find your pivot table, pivot chart, so on and so forth. We have page layout, we have formulas, we have data page. So as time goes on, we'll see what each of this um columns is used for. So we're going to fill in. Let me delete this. So if you open your Excel, you're going to see something like this, right? So we want to create a small table for a Nigerian business, right? For example, we want to know like a business that someone that goes to market every day from Monday to Friday. They want to know how much their sales, how much sales they make, and then the expenses as well. So in their book, normally people write the day of the week, then how much they made and the expenses they made. So let's say this column will be for the day. This will be for sales that was made. And this one will be for expenses. Okay. So the days are going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So below the day column, you fill in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. So on Monday, let's say they made 5,000 naira sales on Monday. And the expenses they made that Monday is 2,000 naira, 2,000 naira expenses. So for Tuesday, they made 6,500 naira sales and expenses of 2,500. On Wednesday, they made for 4,000 and expenses of 1,800. Then on Thursday, they made 7,200 with expenses of 3,000 naira. On Friday, um, they made 8,000 and expenses of 3,200. Right. So this is our table now, right? So what we'll be teaching is sum. Sum is to add up the numbers. We'll teach average. Average gives the mean value. So like to get the average sales per day. Normally there's this English they say, how much do they make on an average? So that is it. We'll be able to find the average. We're able to find the minimum sales, the maximum sales, and so on and so forth. So we'll start from sum. So like I said, sum adds numbers together. For example, we want to know the total sales in a week. So total, right? This is the sales. We want to know the total sales. What do we do? Now, instead of summing this 5,000, 6,500, 4,000, instead of doing it manually, all you have to do is here, you just have to do equal to. So with Excel, everything starts with an equal to sign. Every formula must start with an equal to, else you are just playing. So even if you don't learn anything into this class, just know that before you perform any formula in Excel, you must start with the equal sign. So equal, what are we about to do? We're about to sum. We're about to sum these numbers, sum the total, the sales, so that we can know how much they made from Monday to Friday. Then, if you write some, you can see all of this here. What is it called? All these that is popping out. There's substitute, subtotal, then the sum. You click on the sum. You can just double click on the sum. Let me go again. So you type sum. This is the sum. You double click on it and a bracket opens. What the next thing to do is asking you the number, right? The number that it is supposed to sum. Now you take your cursor here. When you take your cursor here, you right click and drag it. Let me go again. Once you've typed this sum, you take your cursor to the first number, right? Then on your mouse, the left pad, sorry, I said right click, left click. The left pad on your mouse, you hold it and then just drag it down. Just put your hand on the cursor pad. Let me go again. Let me explain it better. You put your cursor here, you left click, then on that mouse pad, just drag your finger down to the whole number you want to select. Then you click on enter. Once you click on enter, it will give you the sum. So if you calculate all this manually, it's still going to give you 30,700. So the total sales is 30,700, right? So if we want to do check for total expenses, it's still the same thing. Now you start with your equal to sign, sum, you double click on sum, then you do the same thing. You tap your cursor here, left click on your mouse pad and drag it down, then enter. Then 12,500 is the total expenses. So that is that for sum. So this is for sum. So next we're going to do is average. Okay. So for average, average gives the mean value, right? So if we want to say like the average sales per day, how do we get that? If you're trying to get the average sales per day, let's get to it. So, in general, like average just like the middle value. For example, if I spread my total sales equally across the 5 days, how much would I make per day if I had to spread it equally? So average is more like the total number of sales divided by the days. Sorry, right? So we have 30,700 across how many days? 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So let's do this. So the formula is going to be equal to average. We are looking for the average. The formula is average, right? So the same thing we did. You take your cursor here, you drag it down and enter. So the average sales is 6,140 naira. So the average adds all the sales, then it divides it by the number of days, like I said earlier. So it's useful to see your typical daily performance, right? So if, for example, you're employed and you're given a data set, they say, how much do you think will make on an average daily? So all you have to do is you do equal to average, then highlight all the sales. You will get your average immediately. So the next we'll be doing is minimum. Mean is like what is the minimum sales? Like we've been selling from Monday to Friday, right? When did we sell the list? So the formula for this is, of course, you start with your equal to. It's just the name. The formula for it is mean. This mean here. Then you highlight everything as well. Enter. So the minimum sales is 4,000. And as you can see, it is 4,000 here. That is on Wednesday, we sold the list. Then there's a formula called max. Just the opposite of mean. Max means when did we sell the most? Which day of the week did we sell the most? So you have to go with max. All right. Then you highlight equal to, so 8,000. 8,000. And we sold 8,000 on Friday. Right. So, okay. That is it for minimum sales and maximum sales. So minimum sales helps you find the slow days, the days you didn't do well. Then the maximum sales help you spot your peak days. That means the days you sold the most. So let's go to the if statement. Mm, should we do if now? Okay. So let's say, imagine you run a shop in a wet market, right? And you know your total, you know your average, you know your highest sales, you know your lowest sales, like all of this we just did now. So this can help you stock more goods on those high sales day. Let's say you made 8,000 on Friday, and now you got to find out that you make more sales on Friday, and then you got to find the products people are buying most on that Friday. If it is rice, you get to stock more on rice. So that is how this helps a business person. So let's move to conditional statement. So these are just the basic formulas. So we're moving to conditional statements now. For conditional statement, like that here. Conditional statement, yeah. So we have, when we say conditional statement, you know what condition is. When someone says, I'm giving you this, but it's with this condition, it's based on this condition, but with a condition, that's just it with Excel. Excel is just like a normal language. You just have to relate it with something that is happening in your everyday life. So the if statement is under condition. So everything we are doing now is under the conditional statement. Otherwise, I will also let you know. So for the if statement, the purpose of if statement is to help you make decision based on a condition. So for example, if sales for a day is, I'm just saying, if sales for a day is above 6,000, say it is a good day, else say it is a low day. So let me give you a more example of this if statement. I remember when we were little, they would tell you, go and buy Joy soap. If there is no Joy soap, then you buy Imperial Leather. So that is the if statement. If buy this for me, get this. But if this is not available, then get this. I hope we understand it. It's that simple. Find 6,000, but if there is no 6,000, yeah, give me 5,000. That is just if statement with numbers. So it's like for the sales and expenses now, to use this if statement, we'll say like your boss is telling you, okay, this is our sales and expenses sheet, right? Okay. So if sales for a day is above 6,000, we can say that it is a good day, right? But if not, then we can call it a bad day. This is what your boss just told you. So what are you supposed to do? It's very simple. Now, we are working on the if. So all the if statements will be here in this column. If statement. Okay. So what did he say again? He said if sales for a day is above 6,000, then we can say it is a good day. That is if it's above 6,000. If we sold above 6,000 on Monday to Friday, any day we sold above 6,000 is a good day. But any day we sold below 6,000, it is a bad day. So how did it start? He said if sales for a day is above 6,000. Now, what he just said now, let's try to put it in a formula. He said if, so we always start with equal to sign. If, right? If, what does this say after if? If sales is above 6,000, what is sales? This is sales. This is the sales figure, right? So the first sale is 5,000. So we'll click on the first column of the sales, the first row, click on it. So what did it say? If it is what? Above 6,000. Now we know the greater than and less than sign. It was taught to us in, I think, primary or secondary school. So greater than is you use your right hand for the greater than and you use your left hand for the less than. So that is the sign we're going to use here. So this is the greater than sign. right? So if you check your right hand, it's the same thing. So if sales is what greater than 6,000, what happens? You put your comma. That is the first statement. If sales is greater than 6,000, normally, even if you are writing it in a book, you still put comma after this statement. If sales is greater than 6,000, before you go to the next statement, you still put comma, right? So it's the same thing here. You put your comma. What happens if it is greater than 6,000? You call it a what? A good day. So whenever you're typing something, make sure that it is in the quotation mark. Whenever you whenever you were typing something in Excel, make sure it's in the quotation mark. So you open and close the quotation, right? Then you still put your comma. So if sales is greater than 6,000, we call it what? A good day. You put your comma. But if not, what do we call it? A bad day. Then if you can see this, you see that it said if the logical test is if the sales is greater than 6,000, that is the logical test. That is what they asked you. So if it is greater than 6,000, what happens? Value if it is true. That means if it is true that sales for that day is greater than 6,000, what will happen? We call it a good day. Now we've imputed the good day here. That is why this is showing that it is done. Now, this one is bold, right? So it means that we've not tackled this. So if false, what do you say? Obviously, you just say that it is a bad day. And that is it. Enter. So what did we get here? We got a bad day. And why did we get a bad day? Our sales for Monday is 5,000. So obviously it is not a good day. 6,000 should be the benchmark. 6,000 is the benchmark for good day. So we didn't get a good day for Monday. Now, why Excel is sweet is that instead of doing this all over again, all over again, all over, like you start inputting the formula here, do the formula here, do the formula here, do it here again. All you have to do is, if your mouse is here, you see this thing now here that is like a block form at the right side of this box. Now look at how my cursor is. This is a big cross, right? My cursor is looking like a big cross now. You take it to the edge, and then it changes to this little cross. Let me go back. So like I said, this is like a big cross. You scroll it, and take it to the edge. Once it turns to this little cross here, just double tap on your mouse pad, and that is it. This class will end soon. Double tap on your mouse pad, and that will be it. So we had a good day on Tuesday because our sales was 6,005. Also, Wednesday was a bad day because it was 4,000. Thursday was a good day because it was above 6,000. Friday is a good day because it is obviously above 6,000. So that is it. We have bad day, good day, bad day, good day, good day. 3 good days and 2 bad days. Not bad. So a POS agent might use this to like quickly see which days are worth staying open late, right? If you're getting 4,000 on a Wednesday, there's no point now. You get 4,000, then do 1,800 expenses. You just know that it is okay if you close early on Wednesdays, right? So that is it for if. Then we have something we'll call the nested if. Nested if. I call it if inside and if. If inside and if like. Okay, let me give this example now. Um, let's say we want, okay, let me use the Joy and Imperial soap. So if go to Mama Nkechi's shop to buy me Lux soap. If there is no Lux soap, buy Joy soap. But if there is no Joy soap, then you can buy Imperial leather. Now, how many ifs are there? Now they ask you to buy the normal if for just two things. If there is no Joy, buy Lux, or if there's no Joy, buy Imperial leather, like just two. They just give you two products to pick from. But here now, it's saying if there is no Joy, buy Lux. If there's no Lux, then you can buy Imperial leather. So it's like three products in one. That is like we call it the nested if inside and if. So this is how we do it. Normally we still start from if, right? Because we're still doing if. We say if what are we still looking for? Sales, right? If sales, we're trying to say if sales is above 5,000, then we call it an excellent day. But if sales is between 5,000 and 7,000, we call it an average day. Then if it is below 5,000, we call it a poor day. So we've said if sales, this is the first sales, right? If sales is what? Above 7,000, that means greater than 7,000. What do we call it? We call it an excellent day. Okay, remember to always open and close when you're typing something. Call it an excellent day. Then what else? If sales is above 7,000, call it an excellent day. Also, if if you're doing an if that is inside an if, you don't have to start with an equal to sign. If you're putting a formula inside the formula, there's no need because this the first equal to sign covers for it. So the first instance was if sales is above 7,000, that means we had an excellent day. The second one is what? If sales is what? Between 5,000 and 7,000. Now, between, this is the formula for between. To call it an average day. So we say if sales is less than, is greater than or equal to 5,000. What do we call it? We call it words because we said if it is between 5,000 and 7,000, that means if it is greater than 5,000, right? So 5,000 and 7,000, that means from 5,000 to 7,000 is still good once it is not below 5,000. That's why we use greater or equal to 5,000. So if we say, if we use only the greater sign, that means if it is 5,000, if we have sales of 5,000, it's not going to read as an average day because we said it's greater than 5,000. But if we say greater than or equal to, that means 5,000 is still in the loop. So what do we call it if sales is greater than or equal to 5,000? We say that we had an average day, right? So what else? What next? So if it is not true, let's say sales is not greater than 7,000 and also it is not greater than or equal to 5,000. What do we say? We'll just call it a poor day. We'll call it a poor day. So how many bracket did we open? That is one thing you should also check in Excel. Any bracket that you open, any amount of brackets, any number of brackets that is opened, make sure that you close it. Else, your formula will not be correct. How many brackets did we open? We opened one, we opened two, right? We opened two brackets. So how many brackets is closed? Uh, there's only one bracket closed. That means we still have to close one more bracket. So we'll close it and then enter. What did we get? We got an average day. We'll get an average day because, okay, this is the formula up here. We'll get an average day because it said if sales is greater than 7,000, we'll say that we have an excellent day. But this is on Monday, we got 5,000. It is not greater than 7,000, so it cannot be an excellent day. So it is an average day because it is equal to or greater than 5,000, and which is 5,000 average day. So remember what I thought was when you've done one formula and you want to extend it to the other ones, you take your mouse to the edge, you take your mouse, this big cross will turn to a small cross. There's this cross, there's this one. We're not doing one is when it's this one, it's not correct. When it's like this, it's not correct. You take it to the edge and you get the small cross, then you double tap. And voila, we have it. So 5,000, we have average day for 5,000, right? 6,500 is an average day because average day is between 5,000 to 7,000. So 4,000 is a poor day because it's supposed to be anything below 5,000 is a poor day. So 4,000 poor day. 7,002 should be an excellent day because anything above 7,000 is excellent. 8,000 is an excellent day because it is above 7,000. So that is it for nested if. This class will end now. I think we'll go again tomorrow. I'm going to send this recording. Please study it over the night so that by tomorrow you can ask any question that you have. I know that you have tons of questions. So just write down your question. Tomorrow we'll work on that. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to continue with our logical functions. We have and, we have or. Also, we have what else should we do? Okay, I think the and or is what's remaining for this conditional statement, and then we'll wrap it up for the week. So have a great weekend. See you tomorrow, same time. Bye.
All right, bye.